How surprised are you by, or maybe surprised not the right word, but just Harold's, I mean, the way Harold has come out over these first 5 games and not look necessarily like your normal third round rookie. Just, I mean, how early in the process of working with him could you see this type of early success out of him?
I would say, through the process of going to even pick him, we kind of found that out about him. You ask former coaches he's worked with, players he's played with. You try to do research on a guy to understand how they play, how they work, how they learn. And through that process, we kind of already said that he could handle a lot of things. So the first day he came in the building, kind of knew how to work with him, tried to get him to work that way, and walked through a play once, had it down. Put him in a new spot, gets it down. And so he has really good instincts. He thinks things through very well. He's very detailed in how he works, and it was immediate to see how he'd be.
How much was that kind of reflected when you go look back in his college career? I mean, the A&M game, the Penn State game, it seemed like the biggest games were also the ones where he seemed to shine the most.
Yeah. What they say, big time players make big time plays in big time games. He wouldn't lead in college in receptions like he did if he wasn't a big time player. And if he was afraid of the limelight, then he wouldn't have shown up in any game, right? Because big time players got to be able to play in the games that don't matter or don't feel like they matter. And I think he shows up anytime he's on the field. He's got that mindset about him, so it's never been a worry. You can see it in how he plays. He attacks every play he's in on. And he does not, when he knows he needs to come out, he knows he needs to come out. But when he's going to stay in, he's going to stay in and give 110. And that's what I love about him.
Obviously, he's off to a great start.
Mm-hmm.
How can you see his role expanding even more as he gets more comfortable, just more experience in the league?
It's a great question. I think with the sky is the limit for him, and it's really it'll go as far as he wants to take it. I think the game will open itself up to him. The game will show him the opportunities he can take advantage of, and it's truly on him to embrace the roles, embrace what we're asking him to do. I mean, we talked to everybody in the team about being selfless and understanding the opportunities that you have coming to you are because of the work you put in on plays where you might not be getting the ball or you have to run block. And his effort in those areas attributes to him being able to show up in other areas of the game, right? Because when he's in there blocking and he releases on a route when it's an action behind it, they don't know if he's blocking for a second-level player or if he's running a route. And that only helps you get open when you're trying to throw the ball or get the ball in his hands. So it only helps him.
How nice was it to see David get more involved in the game plan last week, and what do you see going forward for him?
It was good to see him get involved. I think it was awesome for him to get a touchdown on London like he did, and for him to show up like he did when we were running the ball, blocking. We ask a lot of Dave. We ask him to block. We ask him to pass protect. We ask him to go out on screens, chip the defensive ends that we're playing against, and he's done a good job embracing that role. And when that happens, usually the ball finds you a little more. Good things tend to happen for you. So I'm really proud of how he's embraced everything, and I think that's going to evolve to him doing even more for us offensively just with embracing the role that he has.
And this week, I'm sure some of that chipping is going to be imperative. I mean, I know you don't want to give up the game plan, but just having that under his belt from the last couple of weeks to go into Pittsburgh and have to do some of that stuff at a high level.
It's a confidence builder, and I think it's a confidence builder for him and the team, right? They can see what he can do, and he knows what he can do and can show everybody that. So now it's him raising his level for the next week because no week is the same. Every week needs more. And so it's about understanding what it took to win and to play like he did in London, right? But we still came up short, and how we can improve our ability, improve our effort, improve our attention to detail to help the team be able to win the next week. So I think that's kind of how I hope he approaches it.
David's production and Harold playing well, the two of them together, what can that do for the offense if you can have two guys getting high levels of production for you as you look to kind of grow and expand this offense?
I think it does a lot. I think it helps calm everybody down, bring a lot of confidence to the offense, and I think it brings a lot of advantage to us whether teams want to set up against us in a bigger personnel or a lighter personnel, right? We have the confidence to run the ball. We have the confidence to pass the ball. And when you're very multiple out of personnels, it only makes it harder on the defense to know how to play you. And I think that only makes it easier on the offense, if that answers your question.
Remember I asked you in training camp about 12 personnel, about these two tight end sets, and I think we've seen during the season as the season's gone on, just the potential of it. And I think week 5, in London, kind of saw Harold how exciting for you as the tight ends coach and to see the two guys succeed and thrive and be such a large part of the offense?
I'm just happy for them. My job is to get them to do their job. My job is to relay the game plan, relay their rules and responsibilities, get them to understand it, and make it as easy as possible for them to execute. After that, it's about them going out there and making it happen, and they've done a good job of doing that. So that is what's more exciting to me, is them being able to go out there and show what they can do, and me making sure they know what to do. So I take no credit for how they play. I just try to make sure they know how to do their job when they get out there. They go out there, they put the effort in, and they make the plays. And that's what I coach for. That's what I'm here for, and that brings me the most joy.
The way you guys use 12 personnel, like sometimes it doesn't even look like 12 personnel with where you guys put David or put Harold. I was curious, like how often do you work with Chad O'Shea when it comes to like kind of maybe the wide receiver part of your 12 personnel package? Like what is that like? Are they in some of the meeting rooms with the wide receivers? How does that work? Like that kind of meshing of those position rooms, especially when there's so much versatility with the usage of those tight ends.
That happened a lot in the offseason, where CEO would do a lot of work with those guys, where we'd be in groups or pods talking about different concepts or how to run certain routes. So, and he's really good. He's been doing it for a long time. He's really good at explaining, really good at teaching. And I try to take something from him every day with how he approaches the game and teaches his guys. So anytime there's a route that's put in or a play that's put in and I may not understand it as well or I need guidance, I go straight to him. He gets it cleared up for me and even takes his time to explain it to the guys themselves. So I try to lean on him because he's been here a long time. He's done it for a long time, and it's been very helpful for me and for the players, as you can see.
This might relate to that David question, but I think it was Mike Tomlin this week was talking about using his multiple tight ends, and he's got the giant guy, and just how important the guy with size is when you're playing a 4-3 front. You speak to that, and I guess the toll it can take on a tight end, and even this week how important it is with that pass rush.
Yeah. I would say that when you have a guy with size, you have a lot less of any anxiety of going to having to block a bigger defensive end, right? There's always a difference in size of defensive players that you play. And just like you said with the 3-4 front, you got two bigs sometimes outside of the tackle where the Y is. And it's, having to decide on where I'm going to block the 330-pound guy or the 260-pound guy. And when you have somebody that's big enough to do those roles, block those guys, work together on double teams or whatever you may have going on, it makes it a lot easier for you to approach that week and to game plan and to put guys in the right spots to succeed, if that makes sense.
And to go back to Harold, and I mean, again, like I know we talked about in the offseason program, he doesn't drop many passes. I mean, again, 4 for 4 in this last game. Like, why is he so good at that? I mean, even I know you guys saw that in his college film too, but how has he made that translate, I guess, into his rookie season here?
He does a good job of tracking the ball right through his hands, seeing it in through, and he has an unorthodox style of catching it sometimes where he'll point the hand at the ball, and it's a little unorthodox, but what he does is he sees the ball into the hands and he sees it into the tuck, and he's very strong. He's a very strong player, and he has very strong hands. So when the ball usually hits his hands, it doesn't leave, and he does a really good job of that. So I think that's something you see him play and what he does in college, and it's translated to the league very well.
About your pass catchers globally, and it includes obviously the wide receivers and the tight ends. But at a time like this when the wide receivers haven't been quite as productive as everyone hopes they would be by now, is this a time where you guys can really kind of focus on those tight ends and let them carry the day a little bit if they have to?
That's a good question. I would say that that's never been our focus or never been what we're about in the room. We always try to do our job. Whatever play is called, we got to do our job. So it doesn't matter where the ball's going. It doesn't matter who's getting it, right? Q's been doing really well. We've been doing good running the ball. We got to make sure we support Dylan. So however we call the play in and what we're asked to do is what we do. Our job is to show up, and when our numbers call it, show up and do that. So however the game plays, however the game evolves, because as you know, like the quarters change. Every quarter's different, every half's different, every play's different. And the only thing we can do is focus on what we can do. If we start focusing on why I'm getting the ball or why I'm not getting the ball, then you start forgetting about what the next play is going to be and what the play is right now.
What were your thoughts on how Dylan operated in his first NFL start?
It was very encouraging. I thought he did a good job. He was confident. He played the game quickly. He got through his reads. And I'm not a quarterback coach, so please don't put any weight on what I'm saying. But it's good to see a rookie go out there, especially in the environment that he was in. You know, you're in a new country. You know, the first game's in an unfamiliar place, and I thought he did a great job. It was very encouraging. I'm very proud of him.
How like tight end position has evolved and like how you guys use them. It used to be like a guy was either a blocking tight end or a receiving tight end. Does that even exist anymore? Do you even differentiate anymore?
I would say players have strengths and weaknesses that you try to accentuate, right? You try to build on strengths, hide weaknesses. But as players get more athletic, as training gets to be more advanced, as guys grow in stature, I think the lines always start to kind of change. It's the same thing with edge players or defensive players, right? Like you think about defensive ends, they had kind of two categories. Now it's just turned into them finding the most athletic guys they can to go out there and disrupt the game. So as the game grows, players change, roles change. So I think the lines have started to blur a little bit in how teams ask their tight ends to perform.